Welcome back. There is a new push on Capitol Hill to break down barriers for elected officials who are also new mothers. A bipartisan group of Congress members held a press conference today urging the House to change the rules so new moms in Congress can vote by proxy for 6 weeks after giving birth. NBC's Julie Tsirkin sat down with two of the members leading the effort about why it's so important.
Typically, if we were in a normal workplace, you would have guidance, take maternity leave, whatever it might be. There's nothing like that exists for members of Congress that are women. So I basically asked, they told me that I couldn't vote, which I also didn't know was a thing. And so when I had my baby, it was a pretty rough recovery. And so I couldn't come back right away. And there was obviously a lot happening on the Hill. And so I just wanted to make sure that this was, one, put down on paper so that there's some guidance for other members that have kids after me. And also, two, I just don't think it's fair to remove moms from the conversation. I can't help having a baby. It's a part of my life. And so I shouldn't be discriminated against because of it.
You're both 34. You are pretty young when it comes to the average age of a congressperson, which is like 58. Congresswoman Jacobs, you don't have kids yet, but that's something that you want to do, right? So how is this bill going to enable you to make that kind of decision?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first got elected to Congress at 31, I decided to freeze my eggs because I knew that, especially representing California, I fly at least 10 hours round trip, at least 2 or 3 times a month, that, I want to have kids one day, but in the immediate, it wasn't really going to be feasible. And I wanted to preserve that option for me to be able to make that decision when I was ready. And I'll be honest, this institution was designed by old men for old men. And there really aren't anything in place to help support so many of us younger members. And I think it's important that we have more young people, that we have more parents who are in office, because we just have different issues we're dealing with, and we need to make sure that Congress is addressing those issues as well.
Congresswoman Luna, you came into office last year as a freshman. It was certainly a lot of drama on the floor. You had the speaker election. You had a lot of other things happening. But one of the first items that Republicans tackled was getting rid of proxy voting. What was it about becoming a mother that made you think, okay, maybe we need to bring some of that back for mothers?
Yeah, I think as a first-time freshman, there's a lot that you don't fully understand of how the institution works. And so a lot of it you're just kind of expected to learn on your own, which I have done the due diligence for that. And I will admit that I think that is a mistake, because what you're essentially doing is you're preventing female members from, one, not just having children, but also two, you're basically saying you have to choose between your career and your family. And I don't think that that's, especially in this day and age, something that members should be forced to choose and really pick and choose between. But I also think that if we're talking about really the platforms of both party, you have my party that promotes family values and, motherhood. And then you have the Democrat Party that promotes, women empowerment. And I think that for both parties to condemn this or work against it is somewhat hypocritical.
You are the first to introduce something on this issue. You've had other members who've had other medical issues, who've wanted the ability to use proxy voting in those cases. Is this something that you would like to see expanded to cover more of those issues?
I think for this specifically, the reason it's written as such is because this is just the one topic that we're choosing to address. But I mean, every Congress sets its own House rules. So I'm assuming because of those discussions that this is probably going to be addressed next Congress as well. And
with this bill, one of the things you both keep bringing up is we want to be able to attract fresh blood, younger members, bring some more. I mean, I'm sure you've experienced this just, being in Congress for a couple of years, just how archaic everything seems. What do you want to, what kind of message do you hope that this legislation sends?
I would say, we actually work on a number of issues together, and, we are very different ideologically. We believe different things about a lot, but there are so many areas that we also find common ground just because we are young women and we have that similarity, that I think the more we have young people in office, the more we have different kinds of people, you'll be able to see those different kinds of coalitions, and we'll be able to get more done.
What a fascinating conversation. Joining me now with her latest reporting is NBC News congressional correspondent Julie Tsirkin. Julie, I just want to thank you for shining a light on this. What an important topic, and how important to hear from those lawmakers who are pushing for this new legislation. What else were your other key takeaways from your discussions?
Yeah, Kristen, I mean, it's not often you see somebody like Congresswoman Paulina Luna, who is certainly a Republican firebrand. She's a huge supporter of the former president, and sitting next to Sara Jacobs, who's a young member, a member of Democratic leadership, also a progressive from California, and yet they found so much in common just on this issue. I found it so interesting that Congresswoman Luna seemed to give way, to open the door to perhaps tackling more paid family leave policies. This is something that we hear Democrats beating the drum on all the time, but Luna seemed to suggest that this practice, not only would it be beneficial in the halls of Congress, she often brings her 4-month-old baby boy Henry around, but also expanded to other businesses, other governments, other places where so many working moms are dealing with the same issue and don't have a paid leave policy in place.
Well, it's just an absolutely fascinating conversation. Very quickly, Julie, where do you see this going? Do you think there's enough support for the legislation they're proposing to allow Congress to vote by proxy? Is there enough support for it to pass? What's your sense?
Well, this is what's so interesting. Luna had said that she actually approached leadership at the time. Of course, it was then Speaker Kevin McCarthy before she had her baby. She's like, listen, I'm going to be out in a couple of weeks. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I asked her yesterday if she believes that the new Speaker, Mike Johnson, who she did talk to as well, would be open to this. It's not clear if they would be because, of course, there are some political hesitations when it comes to proxy voting, a pandemic-era policy that Republicans have said Pelosi and Democrats have abused. But certainly it's interesting this conversation is happening, and Luna said she's not going to stop trying.
It's a fascinating conversation. Thank you for bringing it to us, Julie Tsirkin. We really appreciate it. Great stuff as always.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.